Hi there guys, welcome to the Great Grad Job Hunt. My name is Aman, and recently I got a phone call from a company that I'd applied to, and it was just a general courtesy call, and they were asking me if I could resend them my CV because for some reason, the one I'd sent them was corrupt or it didn't open up. And while they were on the phone to me, they asked me if it were possible to answer a few questions, and I said, yeah, sure. But little did I know, this ended up turning into a telephone interview, and I really wasn't ready for it. But fortunately, there were a few things I did which worked out in my favour, and I was able to get through to the next stage. So I'm just going to share a few of those things with you, tell you what went well, what went wrong, and hopefully you guys can take from that. Alright, so I really made sure to maintain a very enthusiastic and a very professional tone of voice throughout the whole interview. And this actually led the person interviewing me to say, you know what, I'll book you through to the next stage despite not having a CV. So I assume I came across quite friendly and interested in the company while also being polite and professional at the same time. Now, getting through to the next stage, I know it's a complete one-off, but being enthusiastic, being polite, you never know where that can get you. And so I feel that definitely acted in my favour. And so I'd recommend you guys try that. I was asked quite a few questions about myself, my degree, my academic history, examples of where I demonstrated certain skills, various work experience placements I'd held, and I was also asked quite a bit about the company I was applying for, as well as the specific role I'd chosen and other roles that were available to apply for with the graduate schemes. And so fortunately I was aware with what was on my CV, and so I would recommend you guys know your work history and know what skills you can demonstrate, and obviously have that backed up by relevant experience. And I felt that this helped me quite a bit, as the interviewers did seem quite impressed by some of the examples I'd used. So make sure you know your CV if you can. There was a bit of a hiccup that I did have. So I was asked what I knew about the company, and immediately I felt myself scrambling on my phone, on my laptop, Googling the company for certain statistics that I could just throw out to the interviewer. And the interviewer even had to tell me a bit about what the company does themselves, and this was a little bit embarrassing. So if you could take anything from my experience, make sure that you've done your research on a company that you've applied to, in case you are asked about it, you don't find yourself blank. And so it could also be helpful to have possibly maybe a laptop or a tablet or something handy anyway. And but I would say it's just best to have done your research. I was also asked about the specific pathway which I'd applied for and why. And so the way in which I went with this is, leading on from my previous point, is that I tried to maintain a very confident and enthusiastic tone of voice. So I made sure to sound sure of myself and that I was confident, and that I wasn't confused about what I want. And having that conviction or that confidence, I'd say, I think it definitely acted in my favour. So be sure of what you guys have applied for and know what you want. So my telephone interview or my screening was quite unexpected, but if there was anything I could share from it, it would definitely be that if you have applied for a role recently, expect to be contacted and look out for the ways in which you'd be contacted and be ready for that. So I personally wasn't told whether I'd be approached by email or whether I'd be approached via a phone call. So I was a bit unprepared in that respect. But generally, if you have applied for a company, and I know it can be a bit difficult when you've applied for loads of different companies and you need to keep track of them, just make sure you know who you've applied to and a few statistics about that company. And so I found myself obviously on my phone Googling statistics and whatnot and graduate roles, and that did sort of detract from my interview a bit, but fortunately it still worked out fine. So that's how my telephone screening went. Fortunately it worked out for me, and it should do the same for you guys as well. If you've got any questions at all, drop them in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe to our page for more videos, and see you guys next time.